Nintendo 64 Instruction Booklet, Model NUS-S-HB-USA-4, Important Safety and User Information. Warning: electrical shock hazard. To prevent electric shock hazard, do not connect the AC power cord plug to an outlet, receptacle, or extension cord unless the plug blades can be fully inserted. A damaged power cord may cause a fire or shock hazard. Do not operate if the power cord is broken, split, or damaged in any way. Always disconnect plugs from the control deck or electrical outlet by pulling the plug, not the cord. Caution: motion sickness. Notice: the Nintendo 64 generates realistic images and 3D simulations. While playing or watching certain video images, some people may experience dizziness, motion sickness, or nausea. If you or your child experience any of these symptoms, discontinue use and play again later. Manual priority level key. Warning: warns you about incorrect use of the Nintendo 64 that could result in serious personal injury. Caution: cautions you about incorrect use of the Nintendo 64 system that may result in 1. Personal injury, or 2. Damage to the Nintendo 64 control deck, components, or accessories. Note: points out important information on using or maintaining your Nintendo 64 system. Table of Contents. Section 1, Nintendo 64. Instruction Booklet, page 2. Components, page 3. Section 2, Connection and Installation, page 4. Audio/video cable connections, page 4. RF switch/RF modulator connections, page 7. Connecting both the Nintendo 64 and Super NES, page 8. Connecting the AC power supply, page 9. Connecting the controllers, page 10. Section 3, How to Operate, page 11. Removing a game pack, page 14. Returning to regular TV, page 14. Section 4, Troubleshooting, page 15. Section 5, Warranty and Service Information, page 19. Parts List and Order Form, page 20. Section 1, System Overview and Components. The official seal of quality. This official seal is your assurance that Nintendo has reviewed this product and that it has met our standards for excellence in workmanship, reliability, and entertainment value. Always look for this seal when buying games and accessories to ensure complete compatibility with your Nintendo product. Component directory. Nintendo 64 control deck, game pack slot, top loading port for sliding in game cartridges, memory expansion port, front top connector that houses the jumper pack. Caution: do not remove the jumper pack from the memory expansion connector. The control deck will not operate. Controller sockets 1 to 4. Front ports for plugging in player controllers. Power indicator, red light on the front panel that illuminates when the power is turned on. A C power supply connection port, rear connection slot for mounting the AC power brick. Multi-out connector, rear proprietary output terminal for sending audio and video to your TV or VCR. Expansion connector, terminal interface found directly on the bottom of the control deck. Nintendo 64 controller. Accessory port, located on the bottom of the controller. It serves as a connector slot for loading an N64 controller POC or rumble pack sold separately. Look for game packs displaying the N64 controller pack and slash or rumble pack icons to ensure accessory functionality. Section 2. Connection and installation. Choose one connection method below that matches the audio/video options found on your television or VCR. You will only need to complete one type of hookup. Method A. Connecting to a stereo TI AV cables. Recommended for standard stereo configurations. Connect the proprietary plug of the stereo AV cable to the multi-out connector on the back of the control deck. Plug the color-coded RCA plugs directly into the input bank of your TV layout. Do not use jacks labeled output. Yellow plug to video in jack. White plug to audio in left jack. Red plug right arrow, audio in right jack, display input setting. Turn on the television and locate the input select control on your TV panel or remote to make the game screen appear. After completing these connections, proceed to the connecting the AC power supply section. Method B, connecting to a stereo VCR AV cables. Use this option if your video lines are routed directly through an intermediate VCR console. Connect the stereo AV cable straight into the multi-out connector on the rear of the control deck. Plug the color-coded output plugs into the matching input ports on the back of the VCR. Do not use jacks labeled output. Yellow plug to video in jack. White plug to audio in left jack. Red plug right arrow. Audio in right jack. Now keep your existing television connection running out of the VCR to the TV screen intact. Set your VCR channel source to its internal input select line input setting to feed the console image through. Proceed to the connecting the AC power supply section. Method C, connecting to a mono TV or VCR, no stereo support. Note: this installation method routes audio through a single channel. The left and right stereo tracks will be mixed into mono sound. Attach the stereo AV cable to the console's multi-out connector. Plug the yellow plug directly into the video in jack on your TV or VCR. Manage the audio line using one of the following variations. Option 1, using a Y adapter. Plug both the white and red audio lines into a dual to single RCA Y adapter. Not included, sold at electronic supply stores. Insert the single end directly into the mono audio in jack. Option 3, direct mono. Leaving the Y adapter out is optional. You may leave either the red or white audio cable unconnected until an adapter is available, running just a single line into the mono audio in port. Locate the proper input select source path on your TV and slash or VCR. Proceed to the connecting the AC power supply section. Method D, connecting to a TV without audio/video ports, RF coaxial. Requires a specialized Nintendo 64 RF switch and RF modulator accessory set, sold separately. Unplug your existing antenna or cable line currently feeding into your television's back panel port. VHF cable connector / antenna in. Reconnect that antenna or cable cord line straight into the terminal port found on the RF switch. Mount the dedicated RF modulator box directly onto the raw multi-out connector slot of the Nintendo 64 control deck. Connect the cable line running from the RF modulator directly over into the accessory port socket located on the RF switch. Screw the primary short, thick coaxial cable of the RF switch, marked TV, onto your television's VHF cable connector / antenna in terminal screw. Proceed to the connecting the AC power supply section, connecting both the Nintendo 64 and Super NES. There is no reason to disconnect your Super NES. You can keep both systems hooked up simultaneously using one of the following configurations. Scenario 1, SNES on RF switch plus TV has AV inputs. Leave the Super NES connected via its RF switch. Use the stereo AV cable to connect the Nintendo 64 control deck to the TV's AV inputs using method A. Scenario 2, SNES on RF switch plus TV has no AV inputs. Keep the Super NES routed to the TV via RF. Connect the Nintendo 64 control deck directly to your VCR's AV inputs using method B. Scenario 3, SNES on RF switch plus TV / VCR have no V inputs. Connect both the N64 and Super NES control decks together by stacking two separate RF switches in your coaxial chain. Scenario 4, SNES on AV cables. If the Super NES uses an AV cable, use the N64 stereo AV cable to connect the N64 to your TV / VCR. If there are no extra AV ports available, use the AV cable connection for the N64 to enjoy the best stereo sound and picture quality, and connect the Super NES using an RF switch instead. Connecting the AC power supply. Warning: hardware safety. To prevent electric shock or damage to the control deck, do not try to use any other type of AC adapter or power supply. Ensure that the control deck power switch is clicked into the off position before starting. Align the AC power supply with the triangle on top and slide it into the port on the back side of the control deck until you hear it click. Insert the two-pronged power cord plug into a standard 120-volt AC wall outlet. Disconnecting and storage. Removal procedure: switch the power to off. Unplug the cord from the wall outlet, then press the lock release button found on the bottom of the AC power supply block to pull it safely out of the control deck. Caution: to avoid excessive wear to the AC power supply connector, do not disconnect the AC power supply module from the control deck, even when storing your console. To save energy, simply unplug the power cord from the wall outlet when the system is not in use. Section 3, how to operate. Console setup and powering on. Place the control deck on a hard, flat, level surface, such as a TV stand, tabletop, or media cabinet. Caution: do not operate the control deck on a carpet, bed, sofa, or other soft surface where any of the built-in housing ventilation slots may become covered or obstructed. Plug your primary Nintendo 64 controller firmly into socket number 1 on the front left face of the control deck before turning the power on. Up to 4 controllers can connect at once, but for most titles, only the controller in socket 1 operates the start button. Caution: foreign materials like food or beverage residue can cause controller buttons to stick. Keep refreshments away from your controller and always wash your hands before playing. Turn your TV on. If connected through a VCR, turn the VCR on and engage its VCR mode. Select your display line output channel. For AV hooks, methods A, B, C. Select the correct video line input path using your remote's input. Select features. Common names include input, select, line, line in, source, in, EXT, AUX. For RF hook, method D, set your TV to channel 3. Ensure the physical switch on the back of the N64 RF modulator is toggled to channel 3. Note: if channel 3 is broadcasting locally in your area, Toggle both the TV and the RF modulator switch to channel 4. Check the edge connector of your game cartridge for any foreign material. Firmly slide the N64 game pack into the top slot face forward and press down all the way. Caution: do not load the game pack upside down or force it into the system. Load only on 64 game packs. Do not attempt to use Super NEs or any other cartridge shapes. Slide the physical console power switch forward to the ON position. Make sure the red indicator light glows. Note, if you have both an N64 and a Super NES connected via the same chain, only turn on one console at a time. Calibrating the control stick neutral position. Critical note: when switching the control deck power to the on position, do not move the control stick away from its dead center neutral position. The problem: if the control stick is held at an angled position when power is activated, that specific angled position will be registered as the new neutral center point. This will cause your game characters to move incorrectly or drift on their own. How to reset if your position is misaligned after a game has already started. Simply let go of the control stick completely so it can return to its natural physical center. Then hold down both the L and R shoulder buttons and press the start button simultaneously to recalibrate the center coordinates, powering down and removing a game puck. When finished playing, slide the control deck power switch back to the off position. Caution: always slide the power switch to the off position before loading or removing a game pack in 64, controller pack, controller plug, or any other accessory lines. Place one hand flat on top of the control deck housing to steady it, and carefully lift the game pack out with your other hand. Reset your TV / video input configurations back to regular TV watching modes on your television panel or VCR input receiver. There is no need to physically unplug your RF switch, AV cables, or power supply line between sessions. Section 4, Troubleshooting Guide. Section 5, Warranty and Parts. Ordering information. Contact portals. Consumer Assistance Hotline, 1-800-255-3700. Hours of operation, Monday to Saturday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., Sundays, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., Pacific Time. Times subject to change. Official website, Automated Power Line, game/product news, 142-588-57529. Requires bill payer permission before calling due to potential long-distance charges. Factory warranty terms. Hardware coverage. Nintendo warrants to the original buyer that the N64 control deck remains free of material and workmanship defects for 12 months from its purchase date. If a failure manifests within this window, repairs will be handled free of charge at an authorized hub. Game packs and accessories coverage. Software cartridges and official accessories carry a 3-month repair warranty from the date of initial purchase. Exclusions. Warranties become null and void if the hardware is used with unauthorized commercial copying blocks, non-licensed power units or modification chips, used for commercial rentals, opened/tampered with, or if the unique serial tracking number is altered or defaced. This warranty is valid strictly within the United States. Official replacement parts mail order form. Note: Nintendo cannot supply replacement booklets for licensed third-party titles marked licensed by Nintendo on retail packaging. Please contact those software publishers directly for text fulfillment. Mailing instructions. To order parts by mail, itemize your selection, calculate your state taxes, for example, WA residents add 8.6%, and append a $2.50 standard shipping and handling fee. An optional expedited 2-day air freight tier can be requested by adding an additional $2.50. Enclose a check, money order, or Visa/MasterCard card number with an expiration date and ship the order form directly to Nintendo of America Incorporated, P.O. Box 97032, Redmond, Washington 98073-97032. Allow up to 3 weeks for standard package delivery. Cash or COD shipments cannot be processed.